Good morning and welcome to the news around the globe on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. Son of Norway's crown princess charged with 4 counts of rape. US revokes over 6,000 student visas. Hamas agrees to new ceasefire proposal. Aneke portal records over 26,000 visits on first day. Niger police arrest 3 sales girls over 29 million naira theft. Naira appreciates to 1,550 naira over dollars in parallel markets. Now the news in details. I'm Deborah Mwakoba. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is prepared to meet Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin at a joint summit to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. Mr. Zelensky made the pledge during talks with the U.S. counterpart at the White House, hastily convened after President Trump's encounter with Putin last Friday. The cordial meeting between Mr. Zelensky and Mr. Trump was a word away from the unseemly shouting match which took place in February and preceded talks between the two men and European leaders from the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, the EU and NATO, who had all flown to Washington, D.C. in a show of solidarity for Ukraine. Also, the U.S. President Donald Trump has told President Volodymyr Zelensky that the United States would help guarantee Ukraine's security in any deal to end Russia's war there, though the extent of any assistance was not immediately clear. Mr. Trump made the pledge during an extraordinary summit at the White House, where he hosted Zelensky and a group of European allies following his meeting on Friday in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Mr. Zelensky hailed the promise as a major step forward, adding that the guarantees would be formalized on paper within the next week to 10 days. Still in America, the United States State Department says it has revoked more than 6,000 student visas in 2025 due to violations including overstays, criminal behavior, and support for terrorism, Fox News Digital reported. The roughly 6,000 visas that were pulled were primarily used to visa overstays or encounters with the law, including assault, DUIs, burglary, and support for terrorism, the State Department told Fox News Digital. The move comes as the Trump administration continues its crackdown on immigration and international students. While the State Department did not specify what they meant by support for terrorism, the Trump administration has targeted some students who have protested in support of Palestine, arguing they had expressed anti-Semitic behavior. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced in May that the department was reviewing the visa status of students who had taken part in such protests. Altogether, the State Department told Fox News Digital that approximately 40,000 visas have been pulled in 2025 in comparison to 16,000 that were revoked during the same time frame under the Biden administration. From America, we move to Europe. The son of the Norwegian Crown Princess Mariusborg Hobby has been charged with 32 offenses, including 4 counts of rape. Hobby, whose mother is the Crown Princess Mette-Marit and whose stepfather is the Crown Prince Haakon, Norway's future king, is expected to stand trial early next year and could face up to 10 years in prison if found guilty of the most serious charges. The charges include the rape of 4 different women, domestic abuse of a former partner, and illegal filming of number of women, including their genitals, without their knowledge or consent. He is also charged with harassment of police and traffic violations. However, Hobby's lawyer Peter Sekulik, who is representing him together with Ellen Holager Adnes, said their client denied all charges of sexual abuse as well as the majority of the charges regarding violence. In June, Hobby was charged with 23 offenses, including 3 counts of rape, by the police prosecutor before the case was sent to the state prosecutor. Hobby is alleged to have raped 4 women between 2018 and November 2024. All the alleged assaults allegedly took place after consensual intercourse while the women were sleeping. Hobby is accused of filming all the women during the alleged rapes. To the Middle East, Hamas says it has agreed to a new Gaza ceasefire proposal as mediators from Qatar and Egypt push to renew talks ahead of major Israeli assault on Gaza City. In a statement, Hamas said it had accepted the new proposal presented by Qatar and Egypt. A senior member of Hamas political bureau, Bassem Naim, said on social media that the movement has accepted the new proposal from the mediators. To Africa. The main rebel group is in esteemed Democratic Republic of Congo. The M23 has walked away from peace talks with the government. The group said it will not return unless the authorities adhere to a previous ceasefire deal. Fighting between the two sides escalated in January when the M23 captured large parts of the mineral-rich east, including the regional capital Goma. In Qatar last month, the rebels and the government signed a ceasefire agreement intended as a step towards a permanent peace deal. But as negotiations were set to resume, the M23 said its representatives were not present in Qatar. We'll be going on a short break now.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Glad to know you're still here. Now we bring you stories from Nigeria. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has confirmed the rescue of 15 more persons in the ongoing operation following Sunday's tragic boat crash in Kojiyo village, Goronyo local government area of Sokoto State. The head of press unit, Mr. Manzo Ezekiel, in a statement said the latest rescue brought the total number of survivors to 25, while 25 others remained missing. The statement noted that the Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, also assured the public that rescue operations would be sustained and further intensified until all missing persons were rescued. Recall that the ill-fated canoe carrying over 50 passengers en route to Goronyo Market capsized in Kojiyo village last Sunday. Initial operations had led to the rescue of 10 passengers, while the intensified efforts yielded an additional 15 rescues. To some political matters, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the Anambra South senatorial by-election, Mr. Azuka Okwosa, has rejected the results of the senatorial election held in the 7 local government areas, alleging rigging and other electoral malpractice. Mr. Okwosa accused APGA of using security operatives and some officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Aneke, to allegedly sabotage the electoral process and described the exercise as a severe blow to the country's democratic integrity. In the results announced by the INEC returning officer, Professor Frank Ojiako, APGA's Emmanuel Nwachukwu emerged winner with 90,408 votes to defeat the APC candidate. Okwosa, who scored 19,847 votes, and Donald Amombo of the African Democratic Congress, who got 2,000 889 votes. Reacting to the conduct and outcome of the elections in a press conference in Ora Ifite, Ekwo-Sigo local government area of the state, Okwosa described the exercise as a charade, a rape on the people's mandate, and nothing but an embarrassment to democracy. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it recorded over 26,000 visits to its continuous voter registration portal just hours after the nationwide exercise commenced on Monday. According to the Commission via its official X handle, hits on the continuous voter registration portal cvr.inecnigeria.org climbed to 26,255 as at 12:35 p.m. on Monday. Announcing the launch, INEC said in-person registration would take place at all its 37 state offices and 774 local government area offices nationwide to ensure easy access for prospective voters. While the online pre-registration is now live, the physical registration phase is set to begin on 25th of this month across the country. The Commission clarified that the CVR is open to Nigerians who have turned 18 and have never registered, as well as those seeking to update their voter details, transfer their voting location, or replace lost or damaged PVCs. Moving on, the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, has commended Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State for approving the payment of 20,000 naira allowance for the corps members posted to the state for their national service. The NYSC DG, who made the commendation when he led other top officials of the scheme on a courtesy visit to Governor in his office, said the gesture was to augment the federal government allowance of 77,000 naira paid to the corps members. While describing Enugu as welcoming, the NYSC DG commended the governor for his support to the scheme in various ways, especially the complete rebuilding of the Ogu orientation camp built in 1973 and said to be the first Nigeria to enviable standard. He further charged the corps members across the country to respect the norms and values of their host state to foster cohesion and cultural integration. Responding to Governor Peter Mba, while assuring the NYSC DG of his administration's commitment to completing the rebuilding of the Ogu orientation camp within a shortest time, said it is expected to be commissioned by the end of the year and commended the DG for the great job he is doing. The governor, who described the NYSC as a veritable platform that brings young people across cultures, faith, and regions together to serve their fatherland, said aside the rebuilding of the rotation camp, the state government has other interventions for the scheme and promised continued support to the welfare and safety of the corps members. Brigadier General Nafiu was in Enugu on a walking visit to the state to inspect the NYSC rotation camp in Ogu to get first-hand appraisal on how the state secretariat is running the rotation activities, asserting the safety and welfare of the staff, and have a robust advocacy engagement with the state government to further deepen the symbiotic relationship between the government and the scheme. Also, 3 sales girls have landed in the police net over the theft of 29 million naira in worth of goods, 29 million naira worth of goods in an electronic phone in Obasanjo complex, Mina, Niger State. The suspects, Sarah Obona, Ruth Emmanuel, and Mercy Obona, were allegedly involved in the theft of the goods, including phones, and giving them to Narudin Musa, who sold them at giveaway prices. The main suspect, Sarah Obona, was alleged to have stolen the phones worth 29 million naira and used part of the money to solve her family challenges as well as make a monetary contribution scheme. She was also alleged to have rented an apartment for her boyfriend. The spokesman for the Niger State Police Command, Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed the incident in a statement in which he said all the suspects were under investigation. Now moving to Ondo. The Ondo State Magistrate Court, sitting in Akure, the state capital, has remanded two men, Tope Ademeso and Ibekele Akinsoye, in prison custody for allegedly raping a 17-year-old girl. The duo, who were commercial motorcyclists, were arrested by the men of the State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun, for allegedly committing the offense at his residence located at the continental area of Akure 2 weeks ago. They were arraigned before the court on 2 counts of conspiracy and rape. Away from that, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Montgomery, yesterday lauded the economic and trade reforms being implemented by the Tinubu administration. Mr. Montgomery said the reforms, though painful, were necessary to get the economy back on track. He described them as bold, brave, and positive steps that have been creating new opportunities. Mr. Montgomery spoke yesterday when he, in the company of British Deputy High Commissioner Jill Lever, visited First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. The High Commissioner spoke days after a similar commendation came from the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, who visited the president at work, lauded the sweeping economic reforms, describing them as pivotal in restoring economic stability and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. Also, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has warned of an impending humanitarian crisis in Nigeria, following a major funding shortfall that threatens critical health, nutrition, education, and water projects across the country. Speaking in Maiduguri during the 2025 World Humanitarian Day commemoration, the UNICEF Chief of Maiduguri Field Office, Francis Butichi, announced that the organization had received only $95 million out of the $255 million required for this year's operations, leaving a $160 million gap to a 67% shortfall. Now over to chieftaincy. The Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Owade, has criticized the decision of the Oni of Ife, Oba Enitan Ogunsi, to confer the title of Okolomo of Yoruba land on a businessman, Dotun Sanusi. The Oni at the weekend bestowed the title on Sanusi during the unveiling of Together, an indigenous social media and business networking platform held at Laji, Ibadan. Confirming the title, Ogunsi described Sanusi's commitment to the cultural and economic growth of the Yoruba race as unparalleled. But the Alaafin, in a statement issued on Monday through his media aide, Bode Durojaye, said the Oni overstepped his bounds, insisting that no traditional ruler other than the Alaafin reserves the authority to confer a title covering the entire Yoruba land. Over to business. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,550 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,560 per dollar last weekend. But the Naira depreciated to 1,535.8 Naira per dollar in the Nigerian Foreign Exchange Market, NFEM. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, showed that the exchange rate for the Naira rose to 1,534 Naira per dollar from 1,530 per dollar last week, Friday, indicating 4.8 Naira depreciation for the Naira. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and NFEM rates narrowed to 15.2 naira per dollar from 30 naira per dollar last weekend. Now over to sports. Moses Ituama earned a career best payout of approximately $1.5 million after his devastating knockout victory over Dillian White in Riyadh. The 20-year-old British-Nigerian fighter's guaranteed pursuit of $1 million could rise to $1.5 million with bonuses following his emphatic first round stoppage of the veteran heavyweight at the ANB Arena. White reportedly earned around $2.7 million for the bout, despite suffering his second knockout defeat in recent years when Ituama floored him with a thundering right hand after just 119 seconds. Industry sources suggest both fighters received flat fees from Riyadh season with potential win bonuses but no back-end upside from pay-per-view revenue. To end the news round the globe, here are the main points. The son of the Norwegian Crown Princess, Mariusborg Høiby, has been charged with 32 offences, including 4 counts of rape. Høiby, whose mother is the Crown Princess Mette-Marit and whose stepfather is the Crown Prince Haakon, Norway's future king, is expected to stand trial early next year and could face up to 10 years in prison if found guilty of the most serious charges. Hamas has agreed to a new Gaza ceasefire proposal as mediators from Qatar and Egypt push to renew talks ahead of a major Israeli assault on Gaza City. In a statement, Hamas said it had accepted the new proposal presented by Qatar and Egypt. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has confirmed the rescue of 15 more persons in the ongoing operation in tragic Bojiyo village, Goronyo local government area of Sokoto State. We also told you that the United Nations Fund UNICEF had of an impending humanitarian crisis in Nigeria following a major funding shortfall that threatens critical health, nutrition, education, and water projects at 10 or visit Wakoba.
Life. According to a veteran lover of nature, Mr. Odo Chukwuebuka Gerald, he views life as a progressive stage. Distance. Life is not a straight road. It bends, it breaks, it blossoms again. Whistles always loud. Some of the best parts are ones is a sacred chance to begin again.
From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, we amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light
Aneke TV. Your favorite person, brightening your morning always. I'm Deborah Wakoba, coming to you live from our studio here in vibrant Enugu.
And I'm Uche Osai, wherever you are, at home, in your office.
Special sunrise vibe to help you begin the day.
So, relax, sip your tea or coffee, enjoy the ride, because sunrise is here.
And firstly,
Give you today's newspaper headlines. All the key updates you need will be served
across the southeast, which will help you get well prepared and good to go.
And later, we will take you through today's celebration to lift your spirit.
So our quote of the day today is coming from being consistent with what you do. And as usual, please always remember that each new sunrise is an opportunity for us to grow, try something new or different, learn, or simply be more present. Please let us know what this quote means to you. Drop your thoughts on Facebook, X, Instagram, or right here on YouTube, all at Aneke TV. We'll go on a short break.
You're still watching Aneke TV. Stay tuned as we take a look at today's weather across major cities in the southeast.
And in Oka, expect a few raindrops early in the morning. Both clouds will soon give way to sunshine. The day will warm up to around 28 degrees Celsius with lows near 20 degrees Celsius.
And over in Enugu, it will be a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. No heavy downpours expected. High temperatures will climb to about 30 degrees Celsius.
And in Abakaliki, the day mirrors Enugu with a blend of partly sunny skies and cloud cover, but mostly dry. You'll see highs near 30 degrees Celsius with lows close to 22 degrees Celsius.
And over to the thriving city of Owerri, we would witness light morning showers in some spots. The rest of the day looks partly sunny and pleasant. Expect a high of around 30 degrees Celsius and lows near 21 degrees Celsius.
Finally, in Umuahia, the day starts with a couple of early showers, transitioning into a mix of sun and clouds. The high will settle around 29 degrees Celsius with a low near 21 degrees Celsius.
So, wherever you are in the southeast today, dress light and keep an umbrella close. Rain or shine, we've got you covered. That's your weather report today. On Aneke TV, we'll be back with more updates.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
life. According to a veteran lover of nature, Mr. Odochukwu Gerald, he views life as a progressive stage. The joy of life often invokes the intrinsic beauty of our true existence. Life is not a straight road. It bends, it breaks, it blossoms again. We stumble, we soar. And sometimes, just breathing is proof that we are still becoming. It's not always loud. Some of the best parts of life comes in whispers, in morning lights, in long walks, in holding someone's hand through the silence. Life is not measured by years, but by moments. And in every moment, even the ordinary ones, is a sacred chance to begin again.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Let's see what's making front page news today in The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and Guardian newspaper. On today's show, we also have again our in-house analyst, Mrs. Chiwendu Ifeoluwankwo. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for
You're
coming on
welcome.
board. Thank you, Mr. Osai.
Ready to fire, right? You're welcome.
Now on The Nation headlines, UK OK's Tinubu reforms, pledges stronger trade ties. Over to the Punch. FG Malls pay rise for political office holders. Now over to the Vanguard news headlines. FG vows equal response as US tightens visa rules. Then moving over, lastly, the Guardian headlines. New licensing charges on settled ports operators, 3.5 trillion naira investment. Now, The Nation reports that the UK at OK's Tinubu performs, pledges stronger trade ties. The UK government has shown support for the reforms introduced by President Bola Tinubu. They are also promising stronger trade relations with Nigeria. What do you think about this concerning the UK support to Tinubu's policy?
Looking at the headline and the point the UK is trying to make here, we can easily understand or closely link it up to what the Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala said the other day, that the Tinubu administration has been able to stabilize the economy. So when you pair this two, you understand that really there's a positive move towards, well, let's say, revitalizing the economy. And that's a very good one, because what it means is a matter of time for the country to start experiencing the, let's say, inflow of investors, which is a plus both for us and for the current administration. Mr. Sai, you have
Okay,
anything to put in?
I think you've really summed it up well. But when you see somebody that has afro, when you carry afro and you go to a barber and say you want to have a cut, what do you think the barber will say? He will definitely welcome you with open arms and say you should come here, right? Or when you have money and then you go to Julius Berger, you want to build a bridge, or you have oil wells, and then you call Julius Berger, you want to do a bridge. Julius Berger will come running. The UK, as far as they are concerned, Nigeria is a market for them. And expectedly, they will be happy that inflation has been at a predictable pace. When Okonjo-Iweala came and said that now the economy has been stable, meaning that at this point in time you're able to predict the direction of the market, which is hallelujah to foreign investors. So one wouldn't be surprised. That's why I made that analogy that when you see somebody carrying an afro and you go to a barber, you want to have a haircut, and he would welcome you to open arms. And in this case, UK, yes, more or less.
That means you're in agreement with what I said, that sooner or later we'll begin to experience the inflow of investors, because they will begin to see that the environment is now stable for them to come in.
Of course, yes. Every investor wants to enter an economy that they're able to predict. Nobody wants to invest in an unknown economy. Okay. Yes. So in this case, if they're able to predict the market at this point in time, yes, of course, dollar has been stable at 1,500 and something for a while. The fluctuation hasn't been that what we witnessed as of last year, for instance. So should we say is a better climate than it was last year. So it's expected.
Thank you. So that means the both countries can deepen their trade partnership if there is more investment.
Of course, there has to be, because they've been our trading partners.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm sorry to say this on air, but as far as I'm concerned, this not just a farmyard for UK. Equally is a very viable market at that for them. I don't think UK would be able to do with that Nigerian market. So they would want anything and everything for the economy to be stable. Yes, they want Nigeria stable. They want the environment stable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now moving over to the Punch headlines, it says FG Malls pay rise for political office holders. The federal government is considering increasing the salaries of political office holders. What's your take on this? Because as we all know that citizens are already facing economic hardship. Like we know that things are hard, the economy is failing, the price of things are getting high, but yet the government wants to increase payments to the political holders.
And that's the problem, because like what they were saying, that this current sharing formula was what was initiated during Obasanjo regime, and the argument they are putting forth is going by the time the sharing formula was initiated and what is obtainable in the system now, going by the economic state, that it is no longer good that they should continue with that old sharing formula, that there is a very urgent need for them to review, an upward review for that matter, of the political office holders, starting from the president down to Senate, House of Assembly, National Assembly, and all the
political office
holders. Upward review of their salaries, monthly allowances. Are we getting it? Now, this is coming at a time where the economy they told us they just managed to stabilize the economy. Just like Mr. Ngozi Konjo-Iweala was telling them, yes, stabilizing the economy is the first step in the right direction, that the next and urgent step is growing the economy.
Yes.
Then after which we'll be able to go back to cushion the effects of the hardship the people has been thrown into in the course of trying to stabilize the economy. That means they understand the fact that people are really experiencing hardship at this time. The market isn't funny, yet they want an upward review of their salaries and allowances, still in the same economy. So I wouldn't know. I'm trying to see insensitivity from their own end. Yet they kept telling us that the government is sensitive to the people's plight. But how can you say, because when you look at the amount of money we are talking about here, if that can be pulled back into the economy, it will go a long way.
Yes.
Now you want your take home to be reviewed upward, and that this is the reason why anytime election or any office is declared vacant, the way it becomes survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Because they know that it is real business. I can even borrow money, and so long as I'm able to find myself in the
that
corridors
position.
of power, I am sure I'll be able to recoup all those money
Yes.
back. But if they will be able to handle the payment and allowances of these office holders such that it will reflect that of a true public office holder, making it unattractive, I'm telling you, nobody will
Nobody will go for it.
nobody will go for that, because no true businessman will want to go and invest where there won't be any return on investment.
Yes, that's true.
But for them, it's viable. So why not? So this is what they're pushing. Labour is kicking hardly against it. Say no, it shouldn't be. But will they pay attention? Because the move is strongly on as we speak.
And it's not the right time for
It's
this.
strongly on. Yeah, they said after that the first time it was during Goodluck's time, they presented it, but he was not able to push it down to Buhari's regime, yet Buhari was not able to do that. Now they want it, done, get it done now. So I wouldn't know why they are pushing that hard. Mr. Osai, please, will you come?
I'm trying to mind my language, you understand?
It should be.
I'm trying to mind my language because, should I say, seeing this headline makes me get agitated. And then I remember likening it to football. At a point in time, there was a season, for example, in English Premiership, where Arsenal Football Club knew the signing clause of a particular player, how much it would take to price the player away from Liverpool. They knew the exact amount. And what did they do? They priced plus £1. I think the release clause was around 40 million euros or pounds. And then Arsenal submitted a bid of 40 million, £1. Yes, and then Henry, the owner of Liverpool Football Club, now retorted, what are they smoking there in London? So I said this to say this. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, I'm sorry to say, what kind of coffee are they drinking in those offices?
You can ask that.
What kind of tea are you taking in that office? That in this economy, that the common man on the streets are suffering. Where we are saying that we are stabilizing the economy without a human face. That we are saying that this economy should be made in such a way that the common man on the street should be able to feel comfortable amidst the lack of human face of the effort to stabilize the economy.
Be able to
And now,
fresh air.
and now you are telling us that at this point in time, this is very insensitive to me.
Very insensitive.
When the populace are crying,
It doesn't make sense.
the economy things are so difficult. You go to market, you look at the price of food commodity. Then you are telling me
You want to
that
increase.
someone who offered his services freely, we didn't beg them to contest an election. We didn't beg them to be appointed into position. They offer their services willingly. They want to serve.
That means that
And it's expected that when you want to serve, part of it is because of your care for the
Yes.
people, not because of what you make from that office, not because of the perks of that office. You want to serve humanity. You're already comfortable, or you're willing to face whatever hardship attached to that office, and then Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is coming to tell me because the Nigerian president earns 1.5 million and then ministers are earning 1 million. That is not enough. That there is need to review it upwards. Are you serious? When we have a minister who has said publicly that he bought a car worth more than 500 million, such an amount that some local governments in Nigeria cannot be able to generate as an internal revenue. And we are talking about reviewing upwards. I was thinking that what I would say at this point in time is that our elites, the politicians, our leaders, has offered to go without salary. That they are you want to review the salary of 1.5 million. Is this what they are living on? Now tell me, what is the traveling allowance for a president? Okay. What is the Easter code for a minister?
Their security.
What is their health allowances? Can the average man in the hospital go to the hospital? I don't mean the community clinic, and afford quality health care? We offer all this to these leaders, and then in an economy that we are begging and praying for stability, we've asked the people to be patient. And you are talking about reviewing it upwards. What is their security vote?
That's it.
What about the other perks of office? You know, in this country, we need to be sensitive. We don't have to, at this point in time, it looks like pouring salt into injury. And I mean to say that those of us who find ourselves in public office should be able to devoid or differentiate or be able to remove ourselves from this psychophancy of wanting to please whichever leader that is there. No. While I agree that this has not been reviewed for a very long time, but timing is of the essence.
That's the thing.
Because you and I know that these leaders are not surviving on this salary. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a wrong time to bring this up. We knew how long it took with labor threatening and going on strike for the review of minimum wage, which I don't know even at this point if states are able to pay the minimum wage.
Yes, if they've started paying them.
What I'm trying to posit is that when you've offered yourself for an elective position, that means you are willing to make sacrifices for the people. The focus is not on the entitlements, the salary is on there. So, revenue mobilization, allocation, and should please, at this point in time, find other things to do and not trying to massage the egos of our leaders. No. How and how many times are we going to do that? We'll review it today to please the leaders, and then another set of leaders comes tomorrow.
We'll keep reviewing.
We'll keep reviewing it. When you talk about our legislators, they are one of the highest earners. They are one of the highest earners in the world. Yes. In Texas, an average legislator earns about $600 to $720 a month. Then when you convert that to naira, at the end of the day, as against what our legislators earn, these are the leaders you're telling me you want to review their salaries?
It's funny, you know. It's laughable.
But we should be very sensitive. We should be very sensitive to the plight of the people.
Of the masses.
Yes. Because we know how long it took us to get to where we're talking about minimum wage. We knew what it took for even the National Youth Service Corps allowance to be increased to what it is now. In fact, it had to get to issue of politics and wanting to curry favor from the people after being called out severally. That's my submission on this, because like I said earlier on, I'm trying to hem myself in and watch what I say, because for as far as I'm concerned, this issue should not come up at this point in time.
Yes,
That's what we're talking about.
that's true. It shouldn't come up at this time, that this is not the right moment,
At
but
all.
instead it should look towards the growth of the
On
economy.
the economy. Then trying to find ways to cushion the effects of what the people are not talking about. Upward review of their monthly salaries.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Thank you very much on that. And moving over to the Vanguard headlines, here it says FG vows equal response as US tightens visa rules. The United States has made its visa process stricter, and Nigeria has warned that it will respond with the same treatment, meaning tighter rules for Americans coming to Nigeria. And then he also said my question is, won't the US visa strictness affect the Nigerians that are traveling for both education purpose, tourism purpose, and there was something I read today on the news, actually, that it was funny, but then one of the rule was that for a person, a Nigerian, to travel outside, as in part of the protocol to get your visa, was that you submit your 5-year social handle username for 5 years. So what if you've not had a social handle?
It means that you're free. That's all. You won't feel it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't.
Okay, what if I've not had for 5 years? Like I have only had 2 years.
And you submit for so much.
You submit
so
what
long
you submit what you have.
Yeah, you submit what you have.
Okay.
Down to your personal ID. That one drove me crazy. What's that? Your username, your password. It's crazy. You
For
know?
every social media account you've used.
So, for our foreign minister to say that we are going to answer them
Back.
in
equal
equal measure, I think is not out of place. Yes, except they have ceased coming in here. As long as they want to come in, the same measure with which
They
handled us, the same measure, that's how they will be handled. I think that's it. Although she was saying that they are yet to deliberate on that, but it won't be anything, it won't fall short of this.
Okay.
Which me, I'm in support of that.
Okay. First of all, the question is, how did they come about this?
I'm talking about
This is the measure, why they are doing all this is according to the measures that's been put in place, going by Trump's policy to stable security
in
of
the
the
States.
yes. As far as the United States are concerned, it is, and Trump's policy is America first. You remember his mantra, make America great.
Great, yeah.
And as far as they are concerned, is America first. So, whatever measure they've seen necessary to make sure that the right people, not terrorists, credible people, come into their country, they would uphold that.
Okay, you are supporting the policy?
I'm coming.
Okay.
Now they've told you that before you come to our country, you have to submit details of your social media engagement.
Within this
Let them know if
you're
you're in support of Boko Haram, if you're a terrorist apologist. That's the essence of it. For total vetting of whoever is coming to their country. And I, for one, I don't see anything wrong in that.
Okay.
Yes, they are serious. They are vetting the people that are coming to their country. So if you have no skeleton in your cupboard, you should be willing to submit yourself to that process. Be vetted. And they are saying you should be sincere about it.
Okay.
If what you have is you have a 2-year presence in social media, submit the 2-year presence. If you don't have a presence in social media, that's good. Let them check
and find
out. So it's total vetting for the sake of security. That tells you the extent
the
Americans will go to secure the life and property of their citizens.
Okay.
So it's America first. And I would say, in Igbo language, they say, Onye ji igu ka ewu na-eso. There is something they have that we want. That's why we are going there. And the federal government or the minister are saying that you respond in equal measure. What equal measure?
No,
What equal measure?
Well, they're trying to say that it's embarrassing,
If
asking somebody down to your personal ID.
if it's embarrassing, build your economy, provide security for your people, make the education system viable. Then your people will not troop out of the country. Have a stable environment, provide health care, make the country work for everybody. Nobody will want to leave. I remember reading as a student of history that in the hostel I lived as an undergraduate, that the students then would go to the refectory and they are entitled to full chicken at little or no cost. They will wake up in the morning and caretakers will come and sweep their rooms for them. The same hostel I ran away from as an undergraduate because of congestion.
Horrible situation.
Our fathers have this story to tell us how before you graduated from the university, institutions, employers, organizations are already asking you to come and join them.
Wow.
Then what am I going to tell my son? And if I have the means and you say my son shouldn't go to a better clime? No. The only equal measure we would respond with is to build our country. Let us do the right thing. Yes, when we do the right thing, we'll make our economy viable, we'll stabilize the country, provide security, provide energy. Then, when somebody asks you to provide your social landmark, you would ask question.
Why?
Yes, because you would have the pride of a true Nigerian because you live in an environment that is very viable and attractive to foreigners. Not the one you want to run away. Let me tell you this. In history, when you study the transatlantic slave trade, we would always say that, yes, our people were forced into slavery. Bring those merchant ships back. We would submit ourselves back to slavery. Now,
Because everybody
wants to live. The Jackpot syndrome. So, my advice, sorry I sound this way, but we need to respond in equal measure of providing security, not granting amnesty to known terrorists, not having a very unstable climate, provide succor, provide grants to students, doctors, and let us have a country that will be proud to say this is our nation. Nobody will want to leave, and nobody will subject you to such checks. Yes, there are countries that the same Americans would not ask them to go and apply for visa. They grant them visa on arrival. Those nations, do they have two heads? It's because they've built something that is respectable. We can build ours. Yes. When at a point China has to close their nation in order to build from within. And when they were done, we've seen how thriving the country is. When Chinese leave their country, there must be something of specific importance they are going there to do as expatriates. They won't travel cap in hand like we do, and they will be respected for it. So let's build our nation.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And please do not forget that you can also grab your physical copies at any of your favorite vendor or catch the e-papers online. And after the break, it's time to unwind with a little celebration. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Thank you for staying with us to this moment. And today we have a celebration. Today, August 19, 2025, it is World Humanitarian Day. It is a day dedicated to honoring humanitarian workers who risk their lives to provide aid to victims of armed conflicts, natural disasters, and other crises. The day commemorates the 2003 bombing of the United Nations headquarters in Baghdad, which killed 22 people, including Sergio Vieira de Mello, the United Nations Special Representative in Iraq. Iraq. Sorry. So there are key aspects of World Humanitarian Day, and the theme for 2025 is Humanity Beyond Borders, uniting for a safer world, emphasizing global unity in addressing humanitarian crisis. And the purposes is to raise awareness about humanitarian work, support volunteers and workers, and highlights the problem faced by disaster victims. Now, the celebration this day is marked with thematic events, conference, informational campaigns, recognition and awards for humanitarian workers, and fundraising efforts. Now, the key principles of Humanitarian Day is having humanity. Neutrality, impartiality, and independence are the core principles guiding humanitarian aid. There are also challenges to this Humanitarian Day, which is ongoing conflict in regions like Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, and other war-affected areas. They require sustained humanitarian support from us. Now, there is also rising floods, heat waves, wildfires, and droughts displace millions, exacerbating humanitarian needs. And over 170 million people are displaced globally, necessitating comprehensive humanitarian responses. Now, there are ways to honor humanitarian workers, and the United Nations and other agencies honor aid workers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. In Nigeria, the day was marked with events to recognize the sacrifice of humanitarian workers, particularly women who face significant challenges in conflict zones. Please, let's try to protect our humanitarian workers and civilians caught in conflict. We should also uphold international humanitarian laws without exception, and also provide sustainable funding for inclusive humanitarian assistance. And it's a wrap on today's edition of sunrise. Please let us know what you're celebrating. You can tag us at Aneke TV across Instagram, Facebook, X and YouTube, or call our phone number 070 043 7110. And it's always a pleasure to have you on our show here on Sunrise at Aneke TV. Thank you for waking up with us. It's always a pleasure. I'm Deborah Wakoba.
And I'm Uche Osai. Stay bold, be unique, and remember, keep watching Aneke TV. Catch you same time tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Salute.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
There are two types of kola nut produced in Nigeria: kola nitida, otherwise called gworo, and widely eaten in northern part of Nigeria. Kola acuminata, also referred to as Igbo kola, is of local origin and occupies an important position in social, religious, and sacred ceremonies in Igbo society. It is seen as a vital and sacred fruit in Igbo land and serves as the major instrument of prayers connecting the ancestors. It cements discussions and also the fundamental bedrock of philosophy and proverbs. It is a symbol of welcome, unity, and peace. If kola nut contains one cotyledon, it is regarded as dump kola nut and thrown away. Kola nut with 4 cotyledons represents the 4 Igbo market days: Eke, Orie, Afo, and Nkwo. If kola nut contains more than 6 cotyledons, it signifies blessings and wealth, and it is celebrated. There is also another type of Igbo kola nut called Ojugo, which is referred to as the king of Igbo kola. The reproductive organ of the kola nut is referred to as the tongue, and it is removed after prayers and thrown to the spirit of the ancestors.
Ekele m ọjụ kwana ihe eji agọ ndụ ndụ a na-atọka onye anaba nke ya na ụlọ agwọ ibe anyị adị nọ ogologo ndụ arụ ike na ọdụmma ihe eji ene ndụ anya na onye nwere ihe eji ene ndụ anya na ịrụfụta nwere ya ịmara na nsogbu rere ya olise bụ anyị na-ekele gị Chukwu okike na-ahụ udo na ọchịchị anyị na-ekene na-ekele maka tata na-ayọ maka echi maka na ọsọ maka eme echi anyị mara na ya dị ka echi na echi anaghị agwụ agwụgwụ na ihe ya adịrị anyị mma ndị be anya onwekwana ihe ọzọ na anyị ga-enye ndị ichie dipụtara anyị na-ere nke
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị n'ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị maka ka onye si eme ka ekwesị akpụ ya ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyekake Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived at the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkanu East, and Nkanu West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkanu East, which we covered today, and I think our come here was successful. Though the rain tried to destroy, but to God be the glory. The aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as people give us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children, and children also we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my purpose are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no no, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chiwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting. A foremost historian, author and academic, Professor Chima Jacob Korie, says Igbo-speaking communities represent a significant part of the diaspora. Professor Korie stated this during June 2025 edition of Nkatu Ibe, a monthly distinguished speaker series organized by the Center for Memories. In his presentation, which he titled Igbo Gade, Reclaiming the Igbo Blueprint in the Cultural and Political Evolution of Sub-Saharan Africa, Professor Korie argued that Igbo migration was the largest migration in human history.
That began some 5,000 years ago, and perhaps, if you look at the map also, an extension of that migration to what I call the African diaspora in the New World. So, what is important, of course, is to understand how the Igbo people were critical to these two levels of migration. Internal within Africa, external within the African diaspora. And I mean by the word here, diaspora, if you look at what is today the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, there's a large proportion of black people in those parts of the world. What is important for us is to think about how those people ended up in what is today referred to as the New World or the Americas. Perhaps 70% of those who ended up in the African diaspora from what is known as the Bight of Biafra were Igbo speaking. Right? So, they constitute a very important part of what is today known as the African diaspora. Perhaps in a state like Virginia in the United States, 60% of black Virginians have Igbo ancestry. The same with Cuba, right? So, I'm looking at those two forms of migration and to think and understand why the Igbo is important in assessing those migrations and their outcome. So let me place some emphasis on the Bantu migration, which occurred within Africa. And when I talk about the Bantu migration, I want you to look at it from a linguistic point of view. How and why is the Igbo language related to Kikuyu, spoken in East Africa? How is the Igbo language related to Xhosa, spoken in Southern Africa, right? How is it related to so many other languages in what is Sub-Saharan Africa? Linguistically, the Igbo speak a language that belongs to the larger family of languages known as Bantu or Niger-Congo. There's close to 100 million people across Sub-Saharan Africa speak these languages or related languages, collectively known as Bantu languages. How did this happen? What does the Igbo have in common with Kikuyu, as I mentioned earlier, Xhosa, etc.? They share a common linguistic affinity. Scholars have explained this through the phenomenon known as Bantu migration or Bantu expansion. By 1000 BC, in a series of migrations, Bantu speakers had spread south of the savannah, across Angola, and to the great lake regions of East Africa. Over the next 1,500 years, they scattered throughout the Central and Southern Africa, interacting with indigenous people and absorbing those indigenous people as they moved along. Their migration throughout Africa is one of the largest migrations in human history. A migration that began 1000 BC and continued to the 4th century AD.
The professor of history further examined how agricultural practices in its various forms were peculiar to the Igbos and how it was their chief source of employment.
It can be speculated that the ancestors of the Igbo were part of these Proto-Bantu speakers whose knowledge of agriculture, especially tuber production, yam production, and iron working, technology helped to people and colonize the rest of the subcontinent. If I had mentioned, the Leja, right? Iron works, which I think is phenomenal. If you go to Leja in Osaka, that people were already working iron smelting here, centuries back. Those skills were very central, and the knowledge of yam production in the way the Igbo people began to expand and leave this area as they seek new opportunities for agriculture and absorbing indigenous people they encounter. Some of you may come across, if you look at Central Africa, the people they call the pygmies, right? Have you heard the word pygmies of the Congo, right? Those are indigenous people that these Bantu speakers, with their superior agricultural knowledge and iron technology, were able to absorb those people. But their language never remained sort of like Igbo. They incorporated other words from those existing languages. But what is important in terms of understanding the Proto-Bantu languages is that there are elements of those Proto-Bantu languages that have been returned, right, in sub-Saharan Africa. For example, we use the word Omo, right, to refer to children of Omo Cheze, Omo this. Most Bantu speakers have the same prefix, Ba for people, right, Ba Congo, and so on and so forth. So, a number of theories have been put forward to explain this migration. There is speculations that overpopulation encouraged some groups to move to new places in search of fertile land and in order to practice agriculture. It is important to emphasize that both the development of agriculture and the existence of unusually high population density have been a defining character of Igbo land even to today. The long history of plant domestication is evident in the large variety of food crops and edible plants in Igbo society. The variety of crops and plants attest to the antiquity of agriculture in Igbo region, including plants like, Africa rice, Guinea corn, Hungary rice, Bambara groundnut, etc., okra, and many, many others that were domesticated in this area and gave these migrants the skills and tools they use in expanding and conquering the rest of the continent. Now, accounts of captives of Igbo origin in the New World provide an unusual and rare glimpse into the agricultural and exchange economy of the Igbo. If you look at the walls over there, there's a picture of an Igbo ex-slave known as Olaudia Equiano. Anybody heard about Olaudia Equiano? Right? No? Okay. So Olaudia Equiano was born in an Igbo village in 1745 and was sold into slavery when he was 11 years. Equiano recorded he wrote his autobiography in 1799. He recorded life and livelihood in his village. There are speculations that it comes from Iseke, which is today in Ijab. And he talked about agriculture, 18th century, that agriculture is our chief employment, and everyone, even the children and women, are engaged in it. Thus, we have a habit of labor from our earliest years. Equiano's description of Igbo society and the economy in the 18th century is supported by accounts given by other Igbo slaves in the Americas. Another Igbo slave in Jamaica, known as Archibald Montet, was born in 1799 in Igbo land and was enslaved in Jamaica. He affirmed in his memoir that yams, potatoes, and Indian corn were an integral part of Igbo agriculture in the 17th and 18th century. 19th century accounts offer more perspective. In his journey to Bonny in 1840, Hermann Kohl, a German doctor, noticed that the Igbo exported agricultural produce and metal goods to Bonny. He described the Igbo as rich in natural products, including maize, rice, yam, oil or palm oil, dyewood, and cotton, and was quite indispensable in providing staple food to Bonny. Bonny is in the riverine area, right? W.E. Crew, who visited Nsukka in 1866, was impressed by the abundance of agricultural produce, and he described that in the market they abound in corn, palm oil, palm wine, fish, deer, meat, dog, and other products like fowl, tobacco, eggs, and yams. What I'm trying to emphasize is the importance of understanding the antiquity of agriculture in Igbo land. And it is this skill of agriculture and iron technology that enabled the Proto-Bantu speakers, which includes the Igbo, to expand and people what is today sub-Saharan Africa.
The detailed dialogue that followed the lecture brought to light several critical issues such as why Igbo accent should be retained, why Biafran history war should be part of the curriculum.
Right? So I discovered, Prof, you were speaking that your accent was very much that of an Igbo. And then when I saw the flyer and saw Marcy, you know, the Arabs are usually very intentional. When an Arab, despite being a professor, could go like Al-Haji, he wants you to know where he's coming from. You know, so why has your accent to everything? And why do you also want to, like, you know, let everybody know that you're accent? You know, just for the lighter mood, because we are driving somewhere.
Well, maybe my brain, it's not wired. It's not wired. My accent, actually. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I have this conversation sometimes with my kid, and then he said, Dad, you know, that's not how to say it. I said, okay, you can't teach me how to speak English now. I only learned how to speak the same, you know, Nigerian English.
Deal, you know, with excluding a past that is very significant like this, and then you will see several years after the agitation has continued in the southeast. So how do you assess such kind of, you know, omission by those preparing the curriculum for our students?
You know, for those who write the history. So if somebody is writing the history of the Biafra War from a federal perspective, they're going to write a different history. It doesn't mean that objectivity in history doesn't count. That's very important. But the politics of history is sometimes historians have to think about what they are writing contributes to, or how it contributes to shaping, right, social consciousness in society. So, if you're writing a history that excludes aspects of the Nigerian history and narrative.
Speaking, the executive director of the center, Mazi Ihani Ibuko, said Nkatumibe was a monthly distinguished speakers series organized by the center, which rooted in the Igbo tradition of communal discourse. He added that the program had become a vital platform for addressing pressing issues affecting Ndi Igbo, promoting Igbo values, heritage, and collective prosperity. The center also presented a plaque to Professor Korie in appreciation to his honoring occasion.
A presentation, a plaque, to commemorate today for you, to commemorate the great lecture. Congratulations.
For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
There are two types of kola nut produced in Nigeria: kola nitida, otherwise called gworo, and widely eaten in northern part of Nigeria. Kola acuminata, also referred to as Igbo kola, is of local origin and occupies an important position in social, religious, and sacred ceremonies in Igbo society. It is seen as a vital and sacred fruit in Igbo land and serves as the major instrument of prayers connecting the ancestors. It cements discussions and also the fundamental bedrock of philosophy and proverbs. It is a symbol of welcome, unity, and peace. If kola nut contains one cotyledon, it is regarded as dump kola nut and thrown away. Kola nut with 4 cotyledons represents the 4 Igbo market days: Eke, Orie, Afo, and Nkwo. If kola nut contains more than 6 cotyledons, it signifies blessings and wealth, and it is celebrated. There is also another type of Igbo kola nut called Ojugo, which is referred to as the king of Igbo kola. The reproductive organ of the kola nut is referred to as the tongue, and it is removed after prayers and thrown to the spirit of the ancestors.
Ekele m ọjị wụ kwana ihe eji agọ ndụ ndụ a na-atọka onye anabara nke ya na ụlọ agwọ ibe anyị adị nọ ogologo ndụ arụ ike na ọdụmma ihe eji ene ndụ anya na onye nwere ihe eji ene ndụ anya na ịlụfụta nwụrụ ya ịmara na nsogbu rere ya olise bụ anyị na-ekele gị Chukwu okike onye ogologo ndụ na ogologo anya na-ahụ udo na ọchịchị anyị na-ekele na-ekele maka tata na-ayọ maka echi maka na ọsọ maka eme echi anya mara na anyị adị ka echi na echi anaghị agwụ agwụgwụ na ihe ya adịrị anyị mma ndị be anya onwekwara ihe ọzọ na anyị enye ndị ichie jupụtara anyị na-ere nke
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị n'ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị maka ka onye si eme ka ekwesị akpụ ya ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyeka Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkanu East, and Nkanu West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkanu East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to disrupt, but to God be the glory, the aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. And we believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as Lupo gave us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's a real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children, and children also we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my purpose are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here we cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no okachako. No, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chiwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
There are 2 types of kola nut produced in Nigeria: kola nitida, otherwise called gworo, and widely eaten in northern part of Nigeria. Cola acuminata, also referred to as Igbo cola, is of local origin and occupies an important position in social, religious, and sacred ceremonies in Igbo society. It is seen as a vital and sacred fruit in Igbo land and serves as the major instrument of prayers connecting the ancestors. It cements discussions and also the fundamental bedrock of philosophy and proverbs. It is a symbol of welcome, unity, and peace. If kola nut contains 1 cotyledon, it is regarded as dump kola nut and thrown away. Kola nut with 4 cotyledons represents the 4 Igbo market days, Eke, Orie, Afo, and Nkwo. If kola nut contains more than 6 cotyledons, it signifies blessings and wealth, and it is celebrated. Also, another type of Igbo kola nut called Ojugo, which is referred to as the king of Igbo kola. The reproductive organ of the kola nut is referred to as the tongue, and it is removed after prayers and thrown to the spirit of the ancestors.
Ibai. Ekele mu. Ojo kwani eji gondo. Ndo ana. Onya na nke nya no na agwo. Ibai adino. Ogologo ndo. No do ma. Odo ma eji ne ndo anya. Na onye ngori eji ne ndo anya. Elufuta murie. Imana na nsogbu ya olise bụ anyị na-ekele Chukwu okike onye ogologo ndụ na ogologo anya na-ahụ ndụ n'ọchịchị anyị na-ekele na-ekele maka tata na-ayọ maka echi maka na ọsọ maka eme echi anya amara na ya dịka echi na echi anaghị agwụ agwụ na ihe ya adịla anyị mma ndị be anya onwekwana ihe ọzọ na anyị enye ndị ichie dipụtara anyị na-ere nke
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Good morning, our viewers. Thank you for staying with us. And you're welcome to the first inaugural edition of The Insight, where we explore the heartbeat of politics and the voice of the people. Here on Aneke TV, I am Uche Osai. Today, we will dive into the headlines that's been dominating the news recently. We will try to bring you experts, analysts, hot debates, and the voice of your neighbors in the street. To join us on this show today is Comrade Kenneth Ofoma, former Vice President of Nigeria Union of Journalists from the Southeast Zone and a public affairs analyst. Comrade.
It's my pleasure to be here at Aneke TV.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Today, we'll begin to look at a myriad of issues ranging from the president's travels, the coalition, the EFCC, and the coalition. But to start with, let's take a look at our president. A lot of people has criticized him for his travels. In fact, the opposition has given him the tag of the most traveled president since our inception to democracy in 1999. According to them, since his swearing in about 26 months ago, he has traveled for over 180 times. In fact, as at the last travel, they said it was the 40th since the 26 months they've sworn him in. And when we compare this, starting from the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who was said to have traveled to about 97 countries within the 8 years of his administration. And we all know that at this point in time, he traveled a lot, trying to salvage the image of the nation, battered with years of military rule. Then, tracing it down to the era of President Goodluck Jonathan, who was heavily criticized for his travels as well. In his case, he was said to have traveled for about 88 to 100 times in 6 years. Then we narrow it down to our late former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who equally, in his 2 terms, was said to have traveled less. In fact, he is estimated to have traveled out of the country for about 108 times out of the country when compared to this present administration. Comrade, how do you see this?
Thank you very much. I don't think our challenge as a nation is the number of times our president travels. Rather, it is that he inherited a very troubling economy.
Okay.
And most of his travels have to do with trying to link up with investors, trying to attract FDIs, foreign direct investments, or even portfolio investment or investors, trying to also burnish the image of the country. Yes, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo may have inherited long years of military dictatorship and needed to also burnish the image and reputation of the country. May have also traveled to lobby for debt forgiveness, where we are seriously, heavily indebted when he came in. But those issues have not left. Those issues for which he traveled are still with us. In terms of how the international community view the nation, our successive presidents have not placed Nigeria where they should be. And so when the current president came on board, he had to, of course, take some drastic policy decisions, including the removal of subsidy on petroleum products and the rebalancing of our naira to stabilize and remove arbitrage between naira and dollar, the difference, the foreign exchange. So all these things had implications on our economy. And as he's battling to put a handle to stabilize the economy, he also needed to engage the international community to attract foreign investment. Well, the only source of our foreign exchange happens to be oil only, our major source. Almost 90 to 95% of our foreign earnings come from oil. So we need to diversify. We need to bring investors to come in with their dollar. That the regulatory framework, the economic parameters have been put in place by removing subsidy, by stabilizing the naira, by introducing other economic measures to ensure that people can freely trust the economy to bring in their money to invest in the economy.
In other words, comrade, you are of the view that these travels are not just mere travels, because according to the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, that Nigeria doesn't need a tourist president. In fact, narrowing down to the opposition coalition, they are of the view that these travels has not shown any tangible economic gains.
Well, that is the former presidential candidate of Labour Party. As opposition member, his job is to criticize government policies and actions. But like I said, the president of a country is the chief image maker, the chief foreign affairs person, number one person, who can market the country, who can engage in bilateral and unilateral negotiations and agreements. And when a president of a nation is sitting with you on a table, you can almost take his words to the bank than when his representative is negotiating with you. You still be doubting in your mind. You don't know whether their president will accept this the way it is or not. But when you have a president coming to you, coming to your country to negotiate with you, or attending international events to make commitments, it gives greater level of confidence and assurance to the international community. That is what he's doing. But like also, it's a matter of style. Maybe another president may prefer to travel less, using foreign minister, using ambassadors or high commissioners, though unfortunately, due to the economic downturn, the present administration is yet to appoint ambassadors and high commissioners since their recall nearly 2 years ago. But I believe that they will do that very soon.
What, in your opinion, would you think is the reason behind not appointing ambassadors and high commissioners till this moment?
The reason they gave was that scarcity of funds, because you have to fund these foreign missions.
And then the president has to become the
maker
and the ambassador, the high commissioner of the country.
That is why he has to engage in so many of these travels.
Now, comrade, let's bring it home. There are people who are of the view that these travels, you said, is a matter of style. But some are of the view that this president, despite the challenges that the nation is facing, security and economic as well, that this president has not spent a night in any state of the nation beside Lagos. How do you justify this as a matter of style?
That is, again, that he has not spent a night in any state does not show or does not mean that the security challenges are not being fought by the security agencies. Of course, you could see some of their exploits. Of course, we have multiple security challenges ranging from terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, and what have you. And so, but they are battling. I believe they are battling with the challenge. And in terms of the stability of our economy, you also recall the other day the president of World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, also came and said that the economy is being stabilized. Stability is not about the rate of our foreign exchange, forex, but the fact that it has remained stable for a relatively longer period of time, and that the arbitrage, the difference between black market rate of dollar and the official exchange rate has been narrowed, so you can plan. And of course, in the area of our petroleum sector, there is also a measure of stability in terms of exploitation and exploration. The only area I believe the nation is having a very serious challenge in terms of refining, NNPC refining, utilizing the refineries. So I think that, of course, in terms of security, I think 2-3 days ago, the National Security Advisor, Ribadu, also addressed a press conference to showcase a number of terrorist leaders arrested due to diligent covert operations by the Department of State Services. So what it means is that even if the president is not going to states to spend the night, the security agencies are doing their job. Like I said, it's a question of style. Well, maybe some other president may prefer to go to visit states, spend days, but the fact remains that he's still not the one that will be in the field to fight the insurgents or confront the criminals. Is he empowering the security agencies to do their job? Yes. Some of these his foreign visits has also led to America to remove the major obstacle towards buying arms and ammunition to fight insurgency. As you can see, last week the American government approved for Nigeria to buy high-profile military equipment and aircraft, high-precision aircraft, to be able to deploy towards curtailing the insurgency. These are, I believe, the result of his commitment and assurances to the international community that such privilege, such ammunition will not be used against the citizens, but against the insurgents and terrorists. And so, yes, he may not have scored 100%. Rate the administration in different sectors. But I think that what is apparent, what is evident, is the fact that there is stability. The country is witnessing some level of stability. Like Kojo said, what remains is now growth.
Good. Now that you mentioned Okoji, I was coming to it. She is of the view that the economy is stabilized, and like you said, it's time to grow the economy and cushion the effect of that trying to stabilize the economy on the man on the street. Given that, don't equally think that the citizenry need assurance from the president also with his presence?
If you ask me, yes. Everybody wants to see the president around his state or her state. But the truth is that Nigeria is running, or is supposed to be running, a federal system of government with 3 tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the local governments. And we know that under this administration, the states have been receiving the highest volume of financial support and federal allocation.
But it will be argued that the people has not felt the impact of this homogeneous allocation. In fact, the president was seen to have told the governors that it's time to let the impact of this homogeneous
be grass.
Yes, in his way, to wear the grass.
That is, well, because he knows.
Is that not an indictment on the government itself?
No, not government. Government is not only federal government. Like we have government.
It means that there's no cohesion in policy.
This is the federal system of government. There is no need to be. You don't need to be.
But we have majority predominant APC governors in this state.
Yes, we have predominant APC.
So going by their manifestos, they all should be gearing towards the same roadmap.
That is what it should be.
But
in theory, but in practice, you know that some of the governors have their different orientations. Some of the local government chairmen have their different orientations. And there are different priorities. And so the president himself is worried that it appears that every blame is being shifted to the federal, whereas a lot of resources are going to the states. How well are they deploying it? What kind of projects? If you look at some of the projects, some of the governors are doing capital intensive, sometimes elitist projects.
Comrade.
That don't
speculate.
You
are beginning to sound like Bayo Ononoga.
No, I'm trying to put the facts.
But you've not seen anything wrong so far with this administration's approach to reforms, impact on the citizens.
Exactly what I'm saying. The approach and the impact is what we now need to also take a second look at. The federal government can use its influence, not by force, but influence to make the governors synchronize their own agenda and policies towards, wetting the grass, towards making life more bearable to the people.
All right.
Towards human capital development, rather than flyover routes and other similar projects that may not have direct impact on the living condition of the people. The federal government on its own can also intensify and expedite execution of those promises about palliatives, like CNG, that will bring down the cost of energy, the cost of transportation. When I say energy, electricity, of course, fuel, the cost of transportation, those things that impact the common man, the cost of healthcare,
Comrade.
The cost of food.
Comrade, in view of what you've mentioned, would you categorically state that the common man is feeling the impact, I bet positively, of these reforms?
The reforms are yet to be fully felt by the people.
On that note,
but
Comrade,
like we said, from stability, we hope that the federal government will intensify the process of growth so that the benefits of the reforms will begin to permeate the various strata of the society, particularly the common man. We no longer have the middle class. There's no doubt these two major policies of the federal government, especially the way it was announced, the removal of subsidy, and the way it was executed, had a very serious impact on our economy. The inflation rate and the cost of living standard of the people, the disposable income of the people. But when you have, at the beginning of the administration, inflation rose as high as 40.
in other words,
but now it's coming down. It's now 21, 22%.
Do we attribute that to lack of preparedness?
It's not about, it's like the manner through which they introduce these policies. Some people believe that to announce removal of subsidy on the day you are being inaugurated was not the best approach. That he should have come, received the handover notes, study the issues relating to subsidy, corruption, and even make an example of one or two persons, prosecute them, know the exact subsidy the nation is paying, how much are we really paying as subsidy. When we remove corruption, how much are we now supposed to pay? But when you say subsidy is gone, it means that you have closed the door against investigating corruption relating. Well, many people believe that the subsidy regime was filled with a lot of corruption. Some people will just go and import water and discharge at the ocean, and then you pay them subsidy.
But that was not enough to arbitrarily on the AUS one.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. I agree with those who believe that it should have been gradual, and we should have first of all determined how much are we really paying. What is the volume of consumption of fuel. How many liters of fuel do we consume a day?
In other words, comrade, you would be willing and happy to see a probe on the subsidy regime.
I am one of those who believe that you don't need to sweep so many things under the carpet in this country.
Right.
They need to start their probe. And the time is now.
Comrade, hold that. On that note, we'll go on a short break. And when we return, we'll continue with other pressing issues. All right, if you're just joining us, this is The Insight on Aneke TV, where we explore the heartbeat of politics, issues that affect our nation. And we are speaking with Comrade Kenneth, or former Vice President, Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Southeast Zone, and a public affairs analyst, a man who have seen it, witnessed it, written about it, and now is speaking about it. Comrade.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk political alignment and realignment. What do you make of the political realignment of the coalition ADC, the rebirth of the PDP?
Well, I personally, as a progressive-minded person, and my professional orientation as a journalist, I would want the nation to witness real democracy. And democracy entails multiplicity of voices and choices as well. And so the coalition should be welcomed. They should be allowed to thrive. Opposition parties like the Labour Party, the PDP, should also be allowed to stand. I'm saying allowed because there might be invisible hands, as the members of these opposition parties allege, that there are invisible hands creating their internal crisis. If it is so, while I'm not saying it is so, but if it is so, such hands should be withdrawn and they should be allowed to operate. That is where you can get the best from our democracy. The coalition, if you recall, that is the style, the method through which the current administration came into office. Because at third attempt to upstage the then ruling party, the People's Democratic Party, the opposition failed because they were going about it based on individual efforts. But in 2014, 2015, the coalition that eventually led to formation of APC, the then Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, the then All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP, the then Congress of People's Party, CPP, if I'm right, the some branch of PDP, greater faction of PDP, yes. the progressive or the new PDP, what they call the new PDP, led by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and some elements of ABGA, led by former governor of Imo State, Rocha Sokoroja. They came together and formed an alliance that metamorphosed into a new political party called the All Progressives Congress. Because of that coalition and force, they were able to come together, project one presidential candidate in the person of former President Buhari, and it helped. At the fourth attempt of him trying to be president, he was able to muster enough votes, particularly from the south, to add to his bank of votes, his 12 million votes that he always got from the north, and then he was able to become president. Now, having done 2 elections in 2019 and 2023, and having seen that it will be difficult to upstage the ruling All Progressive Congress, so the opposition elements are now beginning to use the same playbook of APC to see if they can also upstage the party. But they are still having difficulties to come together to use the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as a platform. And somebody like P2B is also hoping that they will be able to recover Labour Party from Abure, which appears to be happening based on the most recent Federal High Court ruling in Abuja on last Friday, that the tenure of Abure has expired. So if Labour Party is able to recover, if the P2B group that are in the majority, including members of the NLC and the TUC, if they are able to recover Labour Party from Abure, then it will be another strong platform to launch. But even so, Labour Party will still need to partner with other coalition parties in order to make it. I don't think any of the presidential...
Now that you're mentioning the Labour Party, yes, what do you make of it that these coalizing politicians, about being in ADC, has a foothold on other political parties? This is different from the playbook that we witnessed in 2015.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same.
So with this, are you saying, we know that this may be quite early, but are you seeing a roadmap for victory for the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Like what we are doing now is trying to forecast,
yes,
trying to speculate as analysts and public affairs commentator, that politics is very fluid, and a day can make a difference. Sure. So we still have time. Like what is happening now, if they are able to get their acts together, I'm talking about the opposition parties, they may stand a good chance to give the ruling APC, a run for their money.
Comrade,
yes,
let us analyze based on what is happening presently. You've mentioned P2B, and he has publicly stated that he will be on the ballot. Now, another person that is most likely to be on the ballot is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. I use the word most likely. As of today, let's assume that these men will be on the ballot. And given that the PDP is witnessing a rebate, and we've seen them wooing the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to contest, come back into the fold, contest. Now, here is the scenario. We have a P2B who is commanding from the east, a Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, also from the south, south, who from the happenings recently will seem to have the trust of the north. And then, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who equally is from the north, and would command the vote of the predominantly northern Muslims. I ask again, do you see a roadmap for the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to victory in 2027?
Of course, from the scenario you painted, opposition will divide their votes, and that will see the incumbent.
No, talking about this division, the APC in 2023 garnered 8,994,726 votes. That's the APC with which the president was declared winner with 12 states. Then the PDP garnered 6,984 votes, 520,000 votes, winning another 12 states. Then the Labour Party got 6,101,533 votes with 12 states and the FCT. And we are assuming as at today that these men will be in the ring come 2027. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had only 12 million votes, which will be balkanized in the south and perhaps getting close to 25% from the north. In view of this, do you really see a roadmap to victory?
The scenario you painted, politics does not work like that. I can even tell you that he has consolidated more than 2023. Remember that time President Tinubu was not in office. He was racing against so many odds, including some elements within his party trying to frustrate him. But now, he is the incumbent president. He has done a whole lot of groundwork that the Labour Party candidates will have to contend with him even within the southeast, south. And of course, the incumbent president will take the whole of southwest. He will take majority of the, in fact, majority of his vote came from the north. Then, in 2023. So if you are going to, let me even tell you another scenario that may not work, but if it works, it may affect the incumbent president. If, like you earlier said, if Jonathan is on the ballot, former President Jonathan, which is unlikely, and Peter Obi is on the ballot, then you have the incumbent president from the southwest, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the ballot. Yeah. It means that they are going to divide their votes in the south. Then former Vice President Atiku will be the only candidate from the north. And you know, politics of sentiment in Nigeria, most likely, because he got majority of his votes in the last election from the north. And with the feelings in the north currently, even though the incumbent president, the APC is still in charge of many of the states in the north, but the sentiments in terms of the hollow polloi, the grassroots, the common man in the street, they may go for their another brother, because so that means there is
a disaffection for the president.
That's what I'm saying, with the current disaffection,
yes,
in parts of the north. But there is still time.
So the current president is losing that base.
He's not. Let me say, like I said earlier, that it is still far from the election day.
Sure.
But we are assuming the election is tomorrow.
Yes.
But the election is not tomorrow. We still have not up to 2 years, but we still have nearly 2 years for the election to happen. And that disaffection we are talking about, the president will come up with a strategy to overcome that he is currently doing. If you look at the number of Northerners he's giving political appointments, if you look at the way he's now trying to tilt developmental projects and the budget towards the north, if you look at the last Saturday's by-election, the outcome that APC won,
let's look into it.
Then you will understand that he may change that disaffection before long.
Are you saying
opposition is to come together?
Are you saying that with APC being able to win 12 constituency in this by-election, that is a pointer that the president is most likely, through his strategy, dominate 2027, assuming the election?
Yeah, it counts. It counts for the party.
It counts?
It counts for the party. Who made all these victories during the by-election possible? Most of them are incumbent governors, and they have majority of the governors. And no governor will allow himself to be defeated in his state. They have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the reach. To some extent, they control the coercive forces.
With that, let's bring it home to the southeast. Do you see or think that the APC can win the southeast, assuming, given the state of things today?
If P2B will be on the ballot, it will be APC, Southeast will be a battleground. It will not be a rollover like it was in 2023 for the Labour Party candidate then. Because as we speak, the strength of APC in the Southeast has increased. Practically all the governors are promising the president, even if I don't come into your party, but I will work for you. You know, it's like a quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
But this was equally the situation on ground as at 2023, when P2B, like you mentioned, was said to not have any structures in place.
No, granted that he has a bigger movement, which is a formidable force. They don't depend on any party. They don't depend on any structure.
No,
but that lack of structure.
Bearing that in mind, that the obedient movement is a solid structure, and given what is happening today, P2B seems to have made inroads to the north.
That if you don't have the political structure, your mass appeal, there's the level they can take you. That was what happened to Buhari.
But this mass appeal,
yes,
this mass appeal garnered
and that's the point now.
State and FCT.
Buhari had always won 12 million votes in the north. He never became president until he partnered with. Let me tell you why.
He partnered with.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
He partnered with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, yes.
Now P2B is partnering with the north. El-Rufai is there.
Is El-Rufai enough?
Atiku Abubakar is there. You are talking about the structure.
The north is divided.
You are talking about the structure. The north is divided.
The governors, ministers, other political appointees are with the president. Those against the president are those out of power in the north. And so, what is going to happen is that if you have mass appeal, but you don't have the structure to win elections. Remember that Labour Party didn't have even polling agents in more than 40% of polling units across the country. I think we don't have a polling agent to monitor what is happening in the remotest part of Sokoto or Meduguri or Adamawa. And you can only win in some areas, but you won't know what is happening there. Granted that is making it really good enough, but you still need the political structure. If he partners with the North, and if the North are able to overcome their suspicion that he may not do only one term like he's promising them, if they trust him that okay, P2B will do only one term, so that the North, the power will go back to the North, and they give him that support, and he's able to get a formidable candidate from the North, they will make a serious impact.
You've not
but if Atiku is running from the North, P2B is running from the South,
and the president.
No, forget about Jonathan. I don't believe he will run.
Okay.
One is that.
But let's assume. Let's assume he runs.
I can't assume because I know what is happening. There is no platform for him to even run. PDP is not available for him. Wike is still in charge of PDP, and Wike has said he will support President Bola Tinubu for second term. If he is in charge of PDP, who will give Jonathan or anybody the platform to run?
Let's bring it to the Southeast Enugu State, for instance. The APC making an inroad to Enugu State with the performance of a PDP governor.
You see, incumbency is a double-edged sword. If you judge the governor as being performing, when the campaign starts, the opposition will tell you the areas he has failed. his shortcomings. I won't mention them because I'm not assessing him now. Now, that's why I say it is double-edged. Meanwhile, he is trying to come into APC. So,
you have that privileged information?
Is it not obvious to you?
We've not heard him declare.
I didn't say he has declared. I said that he's making effort.
That means you have a privileged information.
Of course, it's no longer privilege. It's a common street information. It's a common knowledge.
And in your estimation, if and should the governor move to the APC, do you think he would still win Enugu State?
If the APC people in the state accept him.
If
yes,
the APC people
and if they yield,
accept him.
Yes, if they yield the structure. Wait now, let me land on my. If they accept him and yield the structure to him to even run, I don't think you will have any serious.
All right, comrade. On that note, viewers, if you're watching us, this is still the Insight on Aneke TV, where we bring expert opinions, analysts to x-ray and dissect issues that are making the headlines and affecting the common man on the street who live these issues, these stories, these topics. We've heard from Comrade Kenneth, or former vice president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists from Southeast, and public affairs analyst, a man who has lived it, seen it, and has written about it, and now is speaking about it. Now it's left for you, our viewers, to send us your views, what you think about these issues, or the issues you want us to raise in our next edition. Reach us at Aneke TV on our social handles, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And remember, your voice matters. At this point, we will draw the curtain on today's program. And thank you for being part of the inaugural edition of this program. Comrade, it's a pleasure speaking with you.
It's my pleasure to be your first guest in the inaugural program.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị n'ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị maka ka onye si eme ka ekwe si akpụ ya ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Onyeka Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news across the country on Aneke TV. First, the headlines. INEC portal records over 26,000 visits on first day. Police in Niger State arrest 3 sales girls over 29 million naira theft. Naira appreciates to 1,550 naira per dollar in parallel markets. Now the news in details. I'm Deborah Wakoba. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has confirmed the rescue of 15 persons in the ongoing operation following Sunday's tragic boat crash in Kojiyo village, Goronyo local government area of Sokoto State. The head of press unit, Mr. Manzo Ezekiel, in a statement said the latest rescue brought the total number of survivors to 25, while 25 others remain missing. The statement noted that the Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, also assured the public that rescue operations will be sustained and further intensified until all missing persons were rescued. Recall that the ill-fated canoe carrying over 50 passengers en route to Goronyo Market capsized in Kojiyo village last Sunday. Initial operations had led to the rescue of 10 passengers, while the intensified efforts yielded an additional 15 rescues. Over to political matters. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress in the Anambra State senatorial by-election, Mr. Azuka Okwosa, has rejected the result of the senatorial elections held in the 7 local government areas, alleging rigging and other electoral malpractices. Mr. Okwosa accused APGA of using security operatives and some officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to allegedly sabotage the electoral process and described the exercise as a severe blow to the country's democratic integrity. In the result announced by the INEC returning officer, Professor Frank Ojiako, APGA's Emmanuel Nwachukwu emerged winner with 90,408 votes to defeat the APC candidate Okwosa, who scored 19,847 votes, and Donald Amobo of the African Democratic Congress, who got 2,889 votes. Reacting to the conduct and outcome of the elections in a press conference in Orifite, Ekosigo local government area of the state, Okwosa described the exercise as a charade, a rape on the people's mandate, and nothing but an embarrassment to democracy. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it recorded over 26,000 visits to its continuous voter registration portal just hours after the nationwide exercise commenced on Monday. According to the Commission via its official X handle, hits on the continuous voter registration portal, cvr.inecnigeria.org, climbed to 26,255 as at 12:35 p.m. on Monday. Announcing the launch, INEC said in-person registration will take place at all its 37 state offices and 774 local government area offices nationwide to ensure easy access for prospective voters. While the online pre-registration is now live, the physical registration phase is set to begin on 25th of this month across the country. The commissioner clarified that the CVR is open to Nigerians who have turned 18 and have never registered, as well as those seeking to update their voter details, transfer their voting location, or replace lost or damaged PVCs. Moving on, the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, has commended Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State for increasing monthly allowance of corps members serving in the state of 20,000 naira. He also thanked the governor for the ongoing reconstruction of the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp in Ogu, saying that the gesture showed how the governor valued the NYSC scheme. General Nafiu made the commendation on Monday when he led senior officers of the NYSC on a courtesy visit to the governor in his office at the government house in Enugu. The Director General said that he was in Enugu on a walking visit to the state to inspect the NYSC Permanent Rotation Camp, Ogu, and to get first-hand appraisal on how the rotation activities were conducted. He said the visit was also to ascertain the safety and welfare of the staff and have a robust advocacy engagement with the state government to further deepen the symbiotic relationship between the government and the scheme. General Nafiu described Enugu State as conducive, which had made some corps members felt at home and refused to return home after their service year. Responding, Mba assured the Director General of the state government's commitment to completing the reconstruction of the Ogo Permanent Orientation Camp within a shortest time. Governor Mba noted that the NYSC scheme was a veritable platform that brought young people across cultures, faiths, and regions together to serve their motherland and deepen that love for their country. Away from that, 3 says girls have landed in the police net over the theft of 29 million naira worth of goods in an electronic phone in Obasanjo complex, Minna, Niger State. The suspects, Sarah Obona, Ruth Emmanuel, and Mercy Obona, were allegedly involved in the theft of the goods, including phones, and giving them to Narudin Musa, who sold them at a giveaway prices. The main suspect, Sarah Obona, was alleged to have stolen the phones worth 29 million naira and used part of the money to solve her family challenges, as well as make a monetary contribution scheme. She was also alleged to have rented an apartment for her boyfriend. The spokesman for the Niger State Police Command, Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed the incident in a statement in which he said all the suspects were under investigation. Now moving over to Ondo, the Ondo State Magistrate Court sitting in Akure, the state capital, has remanded 2 men, Tope Ademeso and Ibekele Akinsoye, in prison custody for allegedly raping a 17-year-old girl. The duo, who were commercial motorcyclists, were arrested by the men of the State Security Network Agency, also known as Amotekun, for allegedly committing the offense at his residence located at the continental area of Akure 2 weeks ago. They were arraigned before the court on 2 counts of conspiracy and rape. In the meantime, the Borno State Police Command has recovered and defused an improvised explosive device, IED, planted near an internally displaced persons IDPS camp in Malam Fatori, headquarters of Abadam local government area. According to the command, the device, described as victim-operated, was discovered and neutralized in the border community, which is about 272 kilometers from Maiduguri, the state capital. The operation comes less than 24 hours after police defused a similar explosive planted on farmlands in Dikwa local government area. Away from that, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Montgomery, yesterday lauded the economic and trade reforms being implemented by the Tinubu administration. Mr. Montgomery said reforms, though painful, were necessary to get the economy back on track. He described them as bold, brave, and positive steps that have been creating new opportunities. Mr. Montgomery spoke yesterday when he, in the company of British Deputy High Commissioner Gil Liver, Senator Oluremi Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. The High Commissioner spoke days after a similar commendation came from the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, who visited the President at work, lauded the sweeping economic reforms, describing them as education and water projects across the country. Speaking in Maiduguri during the 2025 World Humanitarian Day commemoration, the UNICEF Francis Butici announced that the organization had received only $95 million out of the $255 million required for this year's operations, leaving a $160 million gap in shortfall. Now over to business. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,500. The Naira yesterday appreciated to 1,550 Naira per dollar in the parallel markets from 1,560 Naira per dollar last weekend. But the Naira depreciated to 1,534.8 Naira per dollar in Nigeria Foreign Exchange Market, NFEM. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria from 2 naira per dollar from 30 naira per dollar last weekend. Now over to sports. Moses Ituama earned a career best payout of approximately $1.5 million after his devastating knockout victory over Dillian White in Riyadh. The 20-year-old British-Nigerian fighter's guaranteed purse of $1 million could rise to $1.5 million with bonuses following his emphatic first-round stoppage at the veteran heavyweight at the ANBA Arena. White reportedly earned around $2.7 million for the bout, despite suffering his second knockout defeat in recent years when Ituama floored him with a thundering right hand after his 119 seconds. Industry sources suggest both fighters received flat fees from Riyadh's season, with potential win bonuses but no back-end upside from pay-per-view revenue. Also in sports, defending champions of the National Youth Games, Team Delta, have moved into a closed camp with over 600 athletes ahead of the 9th edition of the championships, which will hold in Asaba from 26th of this month to September 6th. The team is camped at St. Bridget's School, Asaba, the Delta Sports Commission Hostel, as well as the hockey hostel located at Okpanam. An official of the local organizing committee, Mr. Festus Owojeru, said that athletes and officials to fly Delta's flag at the Youth Games would be announced later this week. Now over to entertainment. Renowned Nigeria dance icon Kafayat Shafau, popularly known as Kafi, has spoken candidly about her divorce, life as a single mother of two, and the stigma often attached to divorced women in society. Speaking on the Honest Bunch podcast with snippets uploaded on Instagram, the choreographer challenged cultural expectations that only fresh, unmarried men and women are considered suitable for marriage. She argued that a person's marital history should not determine their worth or chances of finding love, stressing that many marriages fail regardless. I have had someone tell me because I am a single mother, they can't even think of dating me because I have 2 children, she revealed. To end the news across the country, here are the main points. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has confirmed the rescue of 15 more persons in the ongoing operation following Sunday's tragic boat crash in Kojiyo Village, Goronyo local government area of Sokoto State. The candidate of All Progressive Congress in the Anambra South senatorial by-election, Mr. Azuka Okwosa, has rejected the results of the senatorial election held in the 7 local government areas, alleging rigging and other electoral malpractices. The Ondo State Magistrate Court sitting in Akure, the state's capital, has remanded 2 men, Tope Ademeso and Ibekele Akinsoye, in prison custody for allegedly raping a 17-year-old girl. That was the news. For breaking news, Eyewitness Report, please call 070-3043-71110 or visit our social media handle on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, all at Aneke TV. I'm Deborah Wakoba. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị n'ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị maka ka onye si eme ka ekwe si akpụ ya ka onye si eme ka ọja si akpụ ya ihe a bụ Aneke TV.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyeka Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived at the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkanu East, and Nkanu West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities. So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkanu East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to destroy, but to God be the glory. The aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
three pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as you forgive us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the two headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children. And children also, we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my purpose are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no no, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
na mbụ ọja m na-asị ekekele ụwa na ọkwa ọja ekenekwa gị n'eluigwe na ala na-ekene gị n'urukpuru na kpakpando na-ekene gị n'ugwu na ndịna na-ekene gị